You've been here before. You lose a few pounds, you feel good, you think,
I am finally doing it. You even drop a few more.
and then one bad day turns into three, a weekend goes off track, and suddenly it's Monday and you feel like you're back at square one again. How familiar does that sound? I know because I've lived in that spiral and it used to drive me crazy. And the chances are you've tried it all. Slimming clubs, you've downloaded MyFitnessPal, you're tracking every bite, maybe you've even hired a PT. You invested in plans from Instagram influencers, you bought and saved all the diet recipe and workout books, yet here you are still wondering, why can't I stick to it? Like, why does this never work for me? What is wrong with me? But I want to tell you something I wish that I had known a lot sooner than I did. This isn't about your willpower. You're not broken and your motivation is not the problem, because there is no perfect plan. Here's what I know to be true. It's the way that you think, the way that your actions reinforce the identity that you are stuck in. The problem has never been the diet, it's your identity around how you diet. That all or nothing mindset you keep slipping back into, that's the real reason you've never been able to lose weight and keep it off. It's all linked to your identity. But what if you didn't have to stay stuck in that loop? And if you give me 10 minutes, I would love to show you what's actually missing and how to shift the way that you think, the way that you behave, and the way that you see yourself.
Let me talk you through what I believe is the real reason why you are really struggling to lose weight and keep it off. And it's got nothing to do with the methods that you have tried to lose weight. It's got nothing to do with the clubs that you've been in, the fact that, you know, you've done MyFitnessPal, you've tracked your macros, you've bought a macro guide, you've downloaded the free things. The reason that it only works for so long is because of the way that you think. And the fact that when you're thinking about something and you're feeling something or something spirals in your day, your immediate reaction is to react because you haven't learnt another way around that situation. And you end up losing momentum, you throw the towel in, you feel a bit crap about it because you're back on that treadmill, or I've lost weight before, now I've gained it, or I'm going round and round and round in circles, losing the same few pounds, and it's very, very frustrating. And this is why I don't believe it's about food, I don't believe it's about willpower, I don't believe it's about motivation. It's all to do with the way that you think. And it's that mindset of being in that all or nothing loop that is exactly why you're stuck in the same results and never moving through that, and always losing the same half a stone and gaining it, or the worse, losing 3 or 4 stone and then gaining it all back again. Because the methods that you use, there's nothing you can use, any method will work. The problem is that you're not changing how you think and the way that you take action on stuff because of your thoughts leading those things. So you're not changing your identity around losing weight. So your beliefs, you know, you've been trying to change your body without ever changing the identity that is driving those decisions. So, you know, you might think you need to be more disciplined. And yes, there is an element of discipline that comes into any weight loss you take, but it's not just about discipline. And when life gets busy, because you don't have another way to your thoughts to like be like, oh my gosh, well, this is just too much now, I don't know how to handle this, it's too much pressure, so I'm just going to stop, because you haven't developed other skills and ways to change those narratives around the thoughts that you hold. You end up spiraling and things don't go the way that you want them to, and then you're back on that hamster wheel of, well, I'll stop now while this chaos is happening in my life, and then I'll start again. But what I want you to do is be able to move through that, because you know yourself, you know how it's going on, you can assess the situation that you're in, and then we look at what needs doing to make that situation feel a lot better for you. Because I know that you know what you need to do, but the problem is you just can't seem to do it or stick to it long enough. And it's horrible, because you know, I know that you're thinking that you're broken, or you're just, you know, but it's not got anything to do with you. You're not broken. All it boils down to is you're operating from a set of beliefs and behaviors that no longer serve you. And I really want you to know that this is all it is, and it's you can change that, which is powerful, and it's what I think is really cool. So I believe that everything that we do boils down to choices at the end of the day. So, you know, and right now you feel something or something happens in your day and you react. But what I want to help you learn to do is understand this choice point theory and understand that right now your reactive impulses, so you're immediately seeking relief because that's what our brains do. I want to stop that from just being a reaction and then you hit the F it button, for example. So what I like to help you understand is that actually, if you can notice what's going on, so the awareness is there, you notice what is happening in that moment, you're getting stressed, you're getting a bit wound up, you can feel all this stuff's going on inside, and like, ugh! But instead of reaching for that biscuit, what we've worked on is we notice that moment. So you recognize at this point that, you know, you're feeling a bit stressed, and usually your go-to is to grab a biscuit because that's what you need to do. But instead of doing that, we work through this little system here. So you notice what's going on, you acknowledge, okay, this is what's happening here, this is what I'm feeling. We override that default by working on strategies that actually help you make a different choice in that moment. And then you take an intentional response that aligns with the result that you want to have. So it all comes down to your choices, but your choices are all built from what your mind believes and what it has been taught. So we need to rewire this whole system so that you can notice what's happening instead of just it happens and then you react. So every single day you're faced with decisions to make. Our brain is overloaded with so much choices and so many different things that we have to like make a decision on. And every time there's that split second moment between the urge and the action, and it's this bit that we need to like make. We need to kind of like realign, rewire, because this is the bit that keeps tripping you up. So between that effort voice and the version of you that actually wants to feel like I'm succeeding here, I'm the girl that is getting the results, I get to be the one that is showing up as my 2.0 self, that I am embodying this version of me, we need to stop you reacting, and I want you to start responding as this person who you know is in there and the woman who gets the results. And the reason I'm so big on this is because I've actually lived this. I have been this girl. I've been the one that reacted at everything and kept pushing my own progress further and further away because I didn't understand that I needed to have a different choice point and make a different choice in that moment. Everything was like a reaction straight away. And I would instantly look for that relief in so many different ways. But, you know, it was always a bit of chocolate or a bit of crisp or something like that. But, you know, when I say a bit, it was like a whole packet or a whole bar. And it was like, oh my gosh, like now I've messed up. And then the rest of the day was trying to compensate and make up for it. And, you know, that's why I was never really in a deficit and never seeing the results that I needed to see. I wasn't in a deep enough deficit for a start because of my actions were messing all that up. But I didn't understand at the time that it was all down to my identity, my choices, the things that I was thinking and how I was, you know, moving through that. And then when I started to understand my own mind and I started to understand that actually I need to take a pause when I feel something. I need to identify what this is that I'm feeling. And then I need to be like, right, where do I want to go now? Do I want to go down the same path that I always go on and it always ends up me not being happy because I'm never seeing the result that I want? Or do I want to go down this new path that feels a little bit uncomfortable and I have to sit with this discomfort for a little bit? But actually what I'm doing is rewiring my whole mind and thought process as to what I do when I'm always at this crossroads in whatever situation I'm in. So, like I said, I had to learn to do something different, and I had to keep choosing my newer version of me, this version of me that lost the weight, that was like had this body that I wanted, that was living this life that I wanted, that could say no, that could be able to like, I can see what's happening here, but actually I'm not going to hit the effort button right now. Instead, I'm going to make a different choice. I'm going to choose this right-hand pathway instead of my default one that I always go on. And it's because like we always choose the thing that's going to keep us safe, the route that we've always gone on. That's what we always will choose because it feels safe. But when you're looking to see fat loss happen and weight loss happen and you want it to be like a complete life choice and you want to see these results forever, you have to change the way that you think, the way that you act, the way that you do. And that all comes from rewiring your mindset, your beliefs, your thoughts and your actions. Then you can lead from this embodied version of yourself that you know is in there, and the woman that you want to be, she's in there. She just needs a little bit of help to rewire what she's always thought and make some new choices. So, and I 1,000,000% believe that this is the reason that women don't get the results, not because you're not trying hard enough, but because you haven't been shown how to change what's driving that decision. And this is what I coach, this is what I live by, and it's what the girls in my world do over and over and over again. And it's, you know, until those old thought patterns get quieter and quieter and you don't hear them at all, you will keep yo-yoing back and forth. This was me all the time. I would go from here to here to there to back to here, and it was a constant cycle because I would always be on a diet or I'd be off a diet, and I didn't understand that it was my mind that needed to actually change how I thought about dieting, but also understand what was happening and have this awareness about myself and what I needed in different moments, and then making different choices. And like I said, a lot of the women that come to work with me, you think you need more motivation or that you're broken. And, you know, I just really want to reiterate, you're not broken, but you do need to assess what's happening. You need to change your beliefs around how you've always done things and your thought patterns. And you need to embody the version of you that you want to be. This woman that has lost the weight, that is living this lifestyle, she needs to be the person that you turn to and be like, I'm going to act like her when I'm ready to hit the effort button. But to do that, you need to understand why you're doing that. And that's the bit that we unpick together. Because ultimately it's exhausting going round and round and round in these circles over and over and over and again, and it just messes with your head and it doesn't make you feel very good. And I don't want that for you. I want you to see everything that I see in women that have tried and tried and tried for years to lose weight and kept cycling around the same things until they finally understood that it isn't just about the macros and your workouts. It's about rewiring the part of you that has always kept you sabotaging the process and the progress, and you know, I want to help you understand your own behaviors, catch them in the moment when they're starting to unravel, and then make decisions based on your future self that you are going to be really proud of. And then that's how you actually make the progress along the way, just like all these girls have. They've had to change their whole thought process and their whole identity around how they've dieted and create new pathways and thought patterns so that their actions then tie in with this new version of them. Because we can't wait to feel motivated, because that's not going to happen. So you have to build this awareness to change your belief to then embody this person that you want to be. And this is when we start building structure so that it works with your life. And because you've created this self-awareness around yourself, you stop being hijacked by your emotions. You start to just see them as like, oh, they're little guides. I get what's going on here now, but they're not gonna, I'm understanding them, so then I don't need to react to them because I actually understand what emotion I'm feeling and what that might lead to, but I can change that. I can put a new one in there. It doesn't have to be, it's always the food or it's always the effort button or it's, I'm just going to skip that workout because I've missed one, so what's the point in carrying on, you know? I teach you how to retrain your brain to pause, to assess and respond in alignment with what it is that you want, the result that you want, because your mood is not the plan. We don't allow how you feel to dictate your actions. We want to have a better way of doing things than that. And that's what we work on. So what do I do that's different is that, like I said, you learn to build awareness of where you're at, the things that are going up, the things that are tripping you up, and we rewire them. So your mind is operating from this 2.0 version of you way more consistently than ever, and that's how you keep seeing result after result after result. You start to see weight loss actually happen. And as you do that, you start to act differently, you think differently, and you do differently. And you become the kind of woman who sticks to things. The woman who doesn't panic about the scales because she actually understands what's going on, and she can understand that my mind is going to tell me that I've messed up here, but actually I have retrained my mind to go, no, that's just data. I am not going to allow that to mess anything up, because actually I have all this other proof that is going on. I know that my emotions are playing a big part in what my mind is about to do, but I'm going to pause here. I'm going to reassess, and I'm going to take this, which is I'm just going to carry on with my day, or I'm going to reach out to Bex because I'm having a bit of a wobble, and I'm going to eat the same foods that I would have normally eaten, because I don't need to self-sabotage at this moment, because I actually understand what's happening here. I can feel these emotions, but I don't have to act on them. And like I said, this is the woman that doesn't fall apart at the first sign or the first hurdle, because you're really starting to understand and embody your new self. And like I said, this is why my girls lose weight and why they also manage to keep their results afterwards if they choose to stay thinking and acting like this version of them that has rewired their whole mindset around weight loss and what it takes to make it happen and for it to be a sustainable thing. It's about changing and redefining what dieting means, but redefining your whole identity around fat loss and what it's always looked like, and doing something different and doing something new, you know. And it's amazing when you do get to this point because, you know, it's not all or nothing anymore. We've moved out of that and we live in what I like to call the grey area. There's no moral compass, there's no right and wrongs. And you know, if you are absolutely done and you with that kind of life that feels so hard that you're always working round and around and around with it, and you're ready to be like, do you know what? This is me. I know that it's my reaction to the things that I'm thinking that are stopping me from seeing this result and why I'm always circling the same patterns over and over again. And you're tired of feeling like fat loss is a mountain to climb and you want to shift and change your identity around it and the thoughts and the patterns that you hold and believe, then that's what I do. And I love helping women change their identity around fat loss and helping you understand your own choice points and being able to take a different path so that you continuously see the results that you want to see. So yeah, if this hits home and you'd like to know more about what I do, then please feel free to, you know, just message in here or, you know, book in for a call and we can just like get to know each other and see where you're at. And yeah, we can talk more about your whole identity around weight loss and what it looks like and how I can help rewire that for you and help you embody this version of yourself that you want to be.